Welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy Update, where we take a look at the energies for the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and the Union. As always, take these messages however they resonate for you and only if they resonate for you with regards to your inner masculine and feminine energies and your inner union, with regards to a counterpart connection, to understand, have compassion, hold space for your partner, or for the global collective, because the global collective is going through this ascension as well. Okay, first things first. I think I need to change this. I forgot to change this. Okay, first things first. What we're going to do is a little bit of a channeling and chat, and I'm going to pull a couple of cards to see especially what's going on with the 7-7 portal. So the 7-7 portal, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. The 7-7 portal is 777 portal. July 7th, 2023 narrows down to a 7 number as well. 7 is an incredibly spiritual number. For me, I always take that as like life path, as like I'm on the right path. I'm on my spiritual path. You, especially if you see 717, 17, triple sevens, that kind of thing, it's a very spiritually connected number. It's also a number of like wholeness, of completion, not completion as in endings, but completion as in that wholeness, completion as in that union, completion as in that oneness. So it's a very pivotal number as well, a pivotal portal day. There are gateways that are opening up, especially as we are heading into the Lionsgate corridor leading up to the 8-8, August 8th Lionsgate. So a lot of astrological and cosmic events, cosmic support that's coming through. I did share with this in the Patreon reading that the 717 feels, I had channeled previously that 717 feels like a pretty powerful day, especially for counterparts. Now, this does not necessarily mean powerful as in, within your external experience, but powerfully felt within yourself. Transformation, metamorphosis within yourself. I've since learned, and I share this in the Patreon reading, that 717 is the known as the twin flame gateway. I did not know that. Take that however that resonates for you. I myself don't really know what that means. I'm not called to that, but I did see something referenced there. But I also did see that 717 is also astrologically when the Aries Libra shift is taking place. So Aries and Libra are shifting nodes. So we were in Taurus and what was it? Was it Pisces? Something like that. The north node and the south node. And now the north node is moving into Aries and the south node is moving into Libra. North node is all about growth. It's all about moving forward, momentum. Really kind of like a cosmic push. The south node is all about clearing out anything that doesn't resonate, clearing it out. And so it's really healing, things like that. And so it's really a big cosmic push for us, especially if you have placements in those signs. I am not really big on astrology. I'm big on it. I just don't understand it. So if you guys have more of an understanding, I would love to learn. Feel free to share your knowledge. I'm learning piece by piece. I'm learning piece by piece, and just whatever it is that I channel about it is what I receive. So if you have more knowledge about it, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, what's going on astrologically that is helping this momentum. Because it does feel big. It does feel like there is a huge shift. And I feel like we're feeling that shift, beginning of that shift now. A lot of supportive energies coming in. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what you might be experiencing before we pull the cards. So, as we had channeled previously, it feels like we were going through a bit of a purge. It feels like the feminine went through this first a couple weeks ago, and then the masculine was going through this. And that's typically what happens, right? You guys mirror each other, and the feminine kind of leads energetically so she can hold space for the masculine to go through their own transformation as well, through their own whatever is being experienced. So, Divine Feminines, you have previously gone through that purge. And I feel like the divine masculines were kind of following that. And purge is just a release. You cannot hold on to that which doesn't serve you anymore. You cannot hold on to past pain, past patterns, mindsets, beliefs that are just outdated modes of being, because you're shifting into a higher level of yourself. You're shifting into a higher level of consciousness, into a higher frequency. And so you have to release that old energy. And sometimes that release of energy looks like shifting beliefs, looks like shifting patterns, looks like shifting mindsets, looks like even shifting within your physical world in some cases. But remember that it's all about transformation, it's all about growth, and it's all about evolution. So shift your mindset, shift your perspective to say, oh, okay, what is this actually showing me? What is this change showing me? How is this teaching me to surrender, so I can allow for this evolution, so that I can allow for this change, so that I can allow for this transformation? And I might not know exactly where this transformation is leading me, but again, that's where you anchor into that faith. So, um, divine feminines, I'm going to speak with you for a minute, because you might you might feel that the energy has gotten much lighter in the past couple of days, since this last moon cycle, since this full moon in was it Capricorn? Gosh, it feels like that was a lifetime ago, and it was only a couple of days ago. Like, time is really it's speeding up. It is just, it feels like days ago was lifetimes ago. And that's marked within your transformation as well. You are absolutely not the same person that you were a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago. It is just so profound and significant to reflect upon your own transformation. And that's what this journey really does. It allows you to transform, so that, it all feels like lifetimes ago. So but that's your shift in consciousness, that's your shift in frequency, that's how much you are changing and shifting within your own energy. So you went through, it felt like a level of detachment. Right now you might feel like you're in a little bit of a void still. You might be feeling a little bit floaty, a little bit airy, but it feels much more productive. And so I'll share my own experiences. So for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I felt like I just couldn't get anything done. Like, I was really struggling and pushing forward. All I really needed to do, or wanted to do, was just rest. And rest sometimes took the form of swimming, it took the form of walks, it took the form of naps, it took the form of just, vegging out, listening to music, or watching a TV show, and I'll get to that in a minute. Um, rest, just allowing yourself to rest. It was almost like the mind, almost like the mind needed to break. A lot of what was happening there was you were being upgraded, you were being shifted into a new timeline, into a higher timeline. And so right now what's happening is there's an integration and an anchoring in, is what I'm being told. Did not know this. That's what we're channeling right now. It's anchoring in and it's integrating. So you're feeling much more grounded. You're feeling much more productive, even though it still kind of feels like a little bit of a void. The void is opening up. What do they mean by that? They mean that there are doorways, there are gateways that are opening up. So the void is not like a thick darkness. It's not like that floaty energy. It's not like that, I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. It's not that energy anymore. This void is just kind of like this energy of surrender. It's like, okay, I'm much more productive. I'm feeling more motivated again, but I'm still detached. That's what it is. It's like you're still kind of detached, but it's in this energy of surrender. It's in this energy of faith. It's in this energy of flow. Divine Feminine, you're being very present with yourself, which is beautiful. Um, so it was a interesting energy. During that energy, the purges, etc., you might have really viscerally been feeling your counterpart and the connection. A lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories. Some of you might have had communication. Um, there might have been conversations. Take it as it resonates for you. There were a lot of different pathways that were opening up, a lot of different things that were going on. Things, again, feel very calm right now. So you're detached. Doesn't mean that there's not love within that detachment, but it just feels like, okay, I'm able to focus again. I'm able to bring that energy back to myself. I'm able to be motivated again. I'm able to be productive again, in whatever way that means for you. Um, taking care of your family, or taking care of business, or taking care of projects, or whatever that is for you. So, what's interesting too is a couple of days ago, I started to feel some old wounding come up, and there wasn't necessarily a trigger. It was just how I was feeling about myself. It was like a very light purge that was coming through, and Divine Feminines, you might be feeling this as well. It was all about insecurities, it was all about worth, but for me, it was tied into like body image, not feeling beautiful, not feeling comfortable, not feeling just like worthy. Almost like I was comparing myself to other people based on not who I am, or you know the soul that I am, but based on how I look. And I had my own issues with insecurities, and that I had been working through with self love throughout my whole life. And it was only the past, I want to say, 6 or so years that I was able to really love myself in the way that I do now, and see myself differently, especially because I had dealt with such pain and difficulty through illness. I had viewed my body in a really difficult light because of illness. And it was only through healing that, and a lot of self love, that I was able to see my illness as something that, see my body through that illness as something that was um, encouraging, and something that was healing, and to love my body for everything I had been through. But a lot of those old insecurities still was coming up over the past couple of days. Now, I say it was a very light purge because it was almost like the thought came up, but I was able to observe it and release it and say, no, that's not real. I don't believe that anymore. And use affirmations to say, I am beautiful, to say, I am special, to say, I am worthy. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of family. I am worthy of friendship. I am worthy of the universe. I am worthy of God's love. That it's not anything to do with how I look or don't look. So it was really interesting. There's some worth issues that are coming up. It might be tied for some of you to body issues, or physical insecurities, or it might be tied to something else with regards to value and worth. But there was a lot of worth that was coming up. And I'm also hearing like not feeling good enough. And you might have actually experienced this with regards to your partner in along your journey, not feeling good enough for your partner, not feeling worthy of your partner, or feeling even too much, like you're too much for your partner. Um, so it's and your partner's always showing you that mirror, where you love yourself, you learn to love yourself and accept yourself in your fullness, in your wholeness, because your partner is going to love all of you, all of you. They're going to love all of you. They're going to see you as just like you see them in their wholeness. You're going to see yourself, and your partner's going to see you in your beauty, in your light, um, regardless of the self-criticisms that you might have had in the past. So it feels like a very light purge, and it feels like you're moving through it. But it's very interesting that was coming up. So I was experiencing that a couple of days ago, and then I was just scrolling through my Instagram feed, and that came up with regards to another reader that was experiencing that, or sharing that. So that was confirmation for me of, oh, okay, this is something that we're clearing. This isn't necessarily something that I'm attaching to. And so I was able to just kind of observe the thoughts and kind of let them go without attaching a story. And that's how I know that there's a lot of healing that's happening through this. So take that as it resonates for you. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about, I don't know what's going on with the divine masculines. Like I said, there's some kind of void, a little bit of a level of detachment after very viscerally feeling them and sensing them and experiencing them. Um, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with the divine masculines, but we'll take a look at that. But there is something else I wanted to mention. I always say that you're called to watch the things, or read the books, or listen to music, that you are, because there's a purpose for it. The one of the prime examples for me was, I didn't read The Alchemist until maybe 2019, when I was far along in this journey, but I'd had the book for years on my bookshelf and I just never picked it up. It just never felt like something I was interested in at the time. It just never felt like time. And so when I finally read it, it was because I was at a level of my journey that I was able to understand it from an ascension perspective. If I had read it prior to this ascension journey, then I don't think I would have appreciated or gotten as much out of it as I did when I read it having gone through the ascension journey. So it's really interesting to me that you're called to listen to or watch or read any of the things that you are, because that creates more understanding for you. You're able to interpret or translate, or you're able to receive more information through these books or this music or even television shows. Um, you guys heard me say that I was watching The Good Place a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to understand a lot more about myself and what I was experiencing through the characters there. So don't negate culture. Spirit moves through everything, the universe moves through everything, including culture, including the arts, especially the humanities, because humanity is an expression of our humanity. The arts are expressions of ourselves. And so when we are creating, we are really speaking from the soul, whether it's art or music or dance or writing, whatever it is that we are creating. Even if we're not creating artistically, if we're just creating in our everyday life, and we're creative beings by nature, whatever it is that we're creating from the place of the soul. And so it matters, it makes a difference, and there's always something to it. So I was called to watch a television show. It's a Turkish television show called Early Bird. I kept seeing it on like TikTok and my reels and stuff, and I'm like, what is this show? And it just kept calling to me and calling to me, and finally I'm like, okay, let's, when I'm in this void, like let's just give it a try. And it's available on YouTube with English subtitles, which adds a certain another element to it, which is really beautiful. But man, this show is something else. It's kind of like a Turkish soap opera, I think, is how you can describe it. And I actually fast forwarded through the B plot because I just didn't have any interest in the B plot, and just kind of focused on the two main characters because it is very twin flamey. Very twin flamey, very divine masculine, divine feminine coming together. Even from the first scene that they're together, it's like they sensed each other before meeting. And they kept crossing paths without knowing that they were crossing paths. And when they finally did cross paths, there was something that was always bringing them together and then pulling them apart. But that love, that connection was always kind of bringing them together. And they were always sensing that. They were always feeling that. When I tell you, this TV show did something to me. Like it really activated me, because I could especially see the masculine and feminine presence in these two main characters, and especially the divine masculine being embodied by the male character. The presence, the expression, the vulnerability, the heartfelt energy, the protectiveness that he felt over the main character, the wanting to provide that stability, the wanting to protect her. And when I say protect, this was not out of a means of control, but this was just that energy of love. It was really, really, really nice to see. And with regards to the feminine energy, what was really beautiful about this is she was just completely authentically herself. Just completely herself. And she's a character who is very clumsy. She makes her mistakes. Um, she is she's just completely authentically herself, and just seeing the two interact, that sacred pull that they have towards each other, and the way that they interact as the feminine and the masculine, it was so interesting. So I encourage you guys, if you feel like it, if you want to binge a new television show, check it out, because it was really something. And it was really interesting too to see this in play, because it's almost like this is the union. This is the energy that we're calling in. This is where our shift is, because you're attracted to that new energy. you're attracted to that kind of energy, that kind of person that this character represents. And of course, it's a character, and of course, it's, film and stuff like that. So take it for what it's worth. But we have felt that energy, right? This journey's crazy. We have felt that energy. And so the fact that we are called to that divine masculine energy, the fact that we are resonating with that divine masculine energy is because we are embodying our own divine feminine energy and recognizing our worth of that divine masculine presence in our lives. So it was very activating. It was very interesting. Check that out if you feel so called. Okay, did I mention the name of it? It's called Early Bird. Or Early Bird. I think it's Early Bird. It's a Turkish TV show. Okay, so all of that being said, I wanted to share all of that first, and let's get into a reading here. So let's see what's going on with the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the union energies for the 777 portal. And Patreon subscribers, we're going to be back this weekend with another mini reading because I want to kind of see how the energy is shifting and dive deeper. But we're going to do, I don't know how much we're going to do tonight, but I do want to get just one oracle card for each. So divine masculine, what's going on for the divine masculine? Okay, all right. I kept getting the phrase as I was doing the Patreon reading, all's quiet, like all's quiet on the Western Front, and it almost feels like the divine masculine had gone into like a little bit of a hermit energy. There was a lot of contemplation energy that I'm picking up on, a lot of reflection energy that I'm picking up on. I do feel like the masculine is more active right now, and that could be in a job, that could be with family, that could be I don't know, traveling or something like that. But they do feel a little bit more active. But there in the background, there's a lot of contemplation and a lot of reflection that is happening. And I feel like the full moon really brought that in for them. I'm actually hearing the whole lunar cycle. So from the last full moon, the new moon, to the full moon, there's been a lot that has been changing and transforming internally within the divine masculine. A lot of illumination, a lot of new understandings. And that's this journey, that's evolution, new understandings. You're always going to understand things from deeper and deeper and deeper perspectives. There's something I'm also getting about embodiment, and I do feel like that came through in the last Ascension Relationship Energy update, where they're beginning to really embody their higher self by changing patterns, behaving differently, acting as their higher self. So they're really integrating and anchoring in that higher perspective, that higher self, and embodying that through their actions. It's a very, I was going to say it's a very active energy, and Spirit was just like, think about that for a second, Susan. Spirit likes me to put the pieces together myself sometimes. It's a very active energy, but it's a very divine masculine energy because this is the divine masculine energy. The divine masculine energy is active. They are the doers. They're not passive. Okay, so let's see what's going on for the divine masculine with the 777 portal. Take time out. Yep, so that confirms what we're picking up on. Some time alone is needed. So it really does feel like there is a little bit of withdrawal, a little bit of a hermit cycle going on. And what did I say about the moon cycles, the moon phases? Really pivotal here. Oh, and yeah, and time for hibernation. Oh, and what's on the bottom of that? Union. So I do feel also like there's a little bit of a nostalgic energy that's coming through here. I feel like, and take this as it resonates for you, it might not be all masculines. And remember that there are a lot of different paths that are opening up. This could be the original counterpart, or this could be somebody new that's coming in. Or it could be a higher level soulmate who's going to become that kind of counterpart connection for you. Take it as it resonates for you. But I feel like there are some masculines that are actually rereading old letters or text messages. I'm hearing to find out, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? And it's almost like they're reading back on old text messages or emails or letters or looking at pictures. But it's almost like they're trying to recapture an old version of themselves from a new perspective, to see the version that they were in, perhaps when they communicated with you or interacted with you, but they're from a different energy now. And it's not like they're trying to recapture it to like go back into that energy, but it's like they're trying to see it from a new perspective. You know how sometimes you will send an email and then you'll go back and read it again. Maybe this is not everybody, but sometimes you'll send an email and then you'll go back and read it again just to make sure, not just that like the grammar is correct or everything, but that it's everything that you wanted to say. And when you're reading it back, it's like you have a different perspective. If you read it back like 24 hours later, you have a different perspective of it. That kind of energy. It's like they're looking at it from a new energy. They're looking at it from a new perspective. They're looking at themselves from a new perspective. And there's a little bit of a nostalgia energy that's here. Um, they're what I like about this energy is that it's not a self-blame energy anymore. It doesn't feel like they're blaming themselves. And by proxy, they're not projecting that onto you anymore. It doesn't feel like there's a sense of guilt anymore. It doesn't feel like there's a sense of shame. It feels like there's a sense of forgiveness that's come through here. But at the same time, it feels like they are trying to understand themselves. And it's almost like they were trying to understand who they were in order to understand who they are becoming. It's a very interesting energy. I want to get a little bit more for the Divine Masculines before we move on to the feminines here. Tell me a little bit more about the Divine Masculines with the 777 portal. The 777 portal I'm hearing is actually opening up. I'm hearing the word trigger, but not trigger as in like a negative sense. It's trigger as in catalyzing them to a new level of their growth and a new level of themselves. And that's why they might be in deep reflection right now and having a little bit of that nostalgic energy. I do feel like they're thinking about happier times with you and recognizing those happier times with you. Yeah, the Hanged Man here, they are having a shift in perspective here. Before, I feel like they really felt stagnant and stuck in that old energy, in blame, in guilt, and remorse, regret, shame. But I feel like they're really moving through this. This is a maturing masculine. It's a really nice energy. I know I've said this for the past couple of readings, but it's really nice. It's really sexy. It's really enchanting. It's really nice. It's really nice. Tell me more about the Divine Masculines. What's going on with the Divine Masculines? What's going on with the Divine Masculines? You wanted to come out? Seven of Pentacles, yeah. They're seeing things differently. And it's because they are different. And I feel like with the Seven of Pentacles, it's this energy of... It's this energy of having the patience to go through this growth. Because they know that the seeds that they plant now are going to be in a new cycle. It's going to be a new manifestation. It's going to be a new life for them. So the seeds that they're planting, it's like they're having patience for themselves as they're going through this growth cycle, because of those seeds that they're planting are going to be new. When you look at your life as it is now, it's a result of past manifestations. It's a result of past actions, past decisions, and past choices. And that's where you take accountability and responsibility for your own life. But right here, right now, in every present moment, you get to make a new choice. You get to make a new decision. Who do you want to be? What do you want for your life? And then you start taking those action steps to get there. I feel like the Divine Masculine is beginning to understand that. But there's a sense of like patience with themselves. There's a sense of compassion for themselves that feels very new. I don't feel like this masculine has been very compassionate towards themselves or self-loving towards themselves in the past. I feel like they were very self-critical. They were very hard on themselves, put a lot of pressure on themselves that could have come from generations before them, where maybe ancestors were self-critical. Maybe parent or authority figures were critical of them. But they're generational code breakers. We've channeled that before. They're breaking the chains of their own past by having that self-love and having that self-compassion. What I also like about this that Spirit wants to bring forth is that this is not self-love in the form of ego and arrogance. There's a quieter energy that's coming through here. There's a gentler, kinder energy that's coming through here. And divine feminines, I feel like there's a softening of the heart that's come from the heart expansions, and I feel like that is going to start being projected towards you. So if you were seeing a masculine that was projecting kind of harsh energies, maybe they were ghosting, maybe they were in and out, maybe they were just unpleasant in their communication, and I say unpleasant as an understatement, um, just to be kind to the masculines. It was very harsh for you divine feminines to be on the receiving end of that. It was not nice. But there's a sense of kindness and softness that's coming through towards you divine feminine. um, I had an experience maybe a couple of months ago where I really shifted I had been very hurt this past year by what I experienced over the past couple of years with my divine masculine, especially this past year. And um, I was working through a lot of that this year. But I had a shift in my own perspective a couple of months ago where I said, you know what? I just feel nothing but love and compassion and gratitude for him. And I recognized for myself that he truly was the best thing that ever happened to me. And he helped me as being that catalyst for me. I put in the work myself. You put in the work yourself, but your counterpart is that catalyst for you. They are that mirror through the unconditional love. And it might not look like unconditional love in the 3D sense, but in the higher realms, in the energy, you can feel it. And that's where you use your own discernment with regards to your connection. You have to tune into the energy versus what's being shown in the 3D, and you have to have those boundaries for the 3D. If what you're receiving in the 3D in your physical realm is not love, if it feels harsh or cruel, then allow yourself to have those healthy boundaries, whatever those might be for you. But for myself, I've certainly done that for myself. And I allowed myself to just feel complete gratitude. And I said, you know what, he really was the best thing that ever happened to me, because even though I did the work myself, he was a catalyst for helping me find my way home to myself again. He was a catalyst for helping me connect back to God. And he was the catalyst for helping me feel alive again after so much suffering and after so much pain that I experienced and trauma I had experienced from illness. I had been on my way there the whole year leading up to reconnecting with my divine masculine in 2017, or I should say my catalyst counterpart in 2017. But in when we reconnected, it was almost like that was the activation to the quantum leap that I needed. And I do believe, and he might disagree, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I feel in my heart that we were the best thing that ever happened for each other. Once you remove all the human shit, once you remove all of that, there's just love, and there's just love. I feel like there is a softening similar to that is happening for the divine masculines, where they are seeing you differently. Now, again, this could be the original counterpart, or this could be somebody new that's coming in, or a soulmate, higher level soulmate that's coming in. If it's a higher level soulmate, then this is a softening of the energy towards the feminine as a whole. As a whole. Okay, that's if you haven't met that person yet. But you can feel that softening. You can feel the energy, especially if they had other connections that didn't feel energetically good to them. If they had like karmic relationships and stuff like that were toxic, you can feel that energy softening towards the feminine energy as a whole. All right, what else? Anything else that we need to know for the divine masculine? Justice. Yeah, there's a balancing out that's happening here. And look who's at the bottom of the deck, the Emperor as well as the High Priestess. And I feel like you represent the High Priestess here, divine feminines, and this is them connecting with you intuitively. Justice, there's a clearing of karma. There's also a recognition of karma. And I feel like because of that recognition, they're actively working to clear the karma. And this can come in a number of different ways. This could come in the form of counseling and therapy. This could come in the form of taking care of their physical health if they neglected themselves. This can come in the form of mending relationships or family dynamics. This could just come in the form of self-development. Remember, divine masculines do things a little bit differently than divine feminines, but at the core, it's the same. It's all healing and it's all growth. All right, let's see what's going on for the divine feminines. What's going on for the divine feminines? Runner chaser, interesting. Allow things to come to you. What I like about this is the solar plexus energy that's coming through here. It's like divine feminines, you are no longer chasing, and you've anchored into that and have begun to embody that. And not only within this connection, but you can see that with everything in your life. You can see that when it comes to maybe friendships or maybe family dynamics. You can see that when it comes to your job, your career, projects, manifestations. You're balanced within yourself, divine feminine. You're no longer chasing, but you're allowing yourself to receive. Now, that chasing or no longer chasing does not mean that you are passive. It does not mean that you are just sitting back and just waiting for things to happen for you. That's where you're balanced within your own masculine energy, where you are able to take an active role and take the steps that you're guided to take. That's where you're trusting your own intuition. That's where you're in alignment with your head and your heart, with your intuition and that higher level guidance. But you're no longer forcing anything. You're no longer chasing after it. You're allowing it to come to you while you're taking those guided steps towards what it is that you desire, because that's where you're manifesting. I'm just getting this energy of the universe being magnetically drawn to you, or you're drawing everything that you desire within the universe to you. I also like this energy because it's showcasing this new foundation within yourself. It's showcasing this new level of embodiment. It's feeling like empowered. It's feeling like just, I don't have another word for it, empowered. It's not quite the Nine of Pentacles and it's not quite the Empress. It's kind of like a hybrid of the two. It's like all of the queens all at once. You're just in this place of empowerment. It's almost like in the past, in your wounded state, you were that chaser because, again, there was that sense of insecurity, that lack of worth, that lack of value. And so it's like you were chasing after things because there was a fear there. There was a fear that you weren't good enough or that you were too much. There was a fear that you were going to be forgotten. There was a fear that you were going to be abandoned. There was a fear that you were going to be rejected. There was a fear. And so it's like you chased after whatever it was that you wanted, particularly the counterpart connection. You chased after it, not just out of the wounded state. And again, forgive yourself for what you didn't know. After you go through the healing, you can see things from a different perspective. But you chased out after it because there was an underlying fear there. And I feel like that is just cleared. It's cleared. It feels just kind of like, again, the word softer, but it just feels like a new embodiment. I'm also getting this energy of you faced your shadows and are facing your shadows. It feels more past tense than this. It feels like you have faced your shadows and there's a sense of fearlessness that's coming through. I'm just getting a lot of powerful energy coming through in this card here. And you see it's almost like a sunburst. It's like there's a lot of powerful energy, and that powerful energy is you, divine feminine. And it's like where there was the shadow, you're not afraid of the shadow anymore. Doesn't mean that you're chasing after it, but it's like you're not afraid of it anymore. There's a standing your ground kind of energy. It's like you're firm in yourself, you're asserting yourself, you're in your sense of self-empowerment. You're no longer chasing after the shadow, and you're no longer running from the shadow. You're just acknowledging it and recognizing the power in facing your fears, recognizing the power in facing yourself and understanding yourself. It's almost like that shadow just kind of dissolves into light. There's a beautiful energy that's coming through here. Let's get some more for the divine feminines. Let's get this deck. What's going on for the divine feminines? Let's get some more energy for the divine feminines. Yeah, the shadow side. Exactly. So that's the devil card, and we have temperance, and we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is interesting. I'll talk about that in a minute. But on the deck, you also have the Emperor and Justice. Okay, interesting. So the devil energy is that toxic energy. It's the wounded energy. It is the shadow side. And especially when you see the lovers in tarot is actually the antithesis of the devil. It's like they're two sides. And so it's allowing yourself to look at the shadows, to look at that toxicity, and to clear that, to heal that, to release your attachment to that. Remember when I was talking about that television show and how it's like, being attracted to that masculine energy, regardless of the person. We're not talking about the person. We're talking about the energy of the divine masculine and how attractive that is because of the presence and the stability and the protectiveness and the care and that just that level of vulnerability and self-expression that the divine masculine portrays. It's really interesting because in the past you might not have been attracted to that, because in the past you might have been attracted to what was your own wounded state. And so now it's like, now that you're embodying this higher level of yourself, now that you chose a different timeline, now that you're in a higher frequency because of your healing, because of your growth, because of your evolution, now you're attracted and inviting in more of that masculine presence. And you can even see this in your physical world, perhaps with other partners coming in, or perhaps other interests, romantic interests, or friendships, or just masculine presence in your life. It doesn't have to be romantic, but presence in your life. You're calling in more of that masculine, that divine masculine presence, that conscious masculine presence. So with the Temperance card, this is balancing and this is healing. This is healing this devil energy, this toxic energy. The Four of Cups is interesting here because it's almost like looking at the past and looking at what you were calling in, looking at what you were attracted to, or attracting in, I should say. And it's like the universe is just sitting here like, okay, are you going to see what you're really worth? Are you going to take this opportunity to grow? Are you going to take this opportunity to call in essentially what you're matched to, what your frequency, you've raised your frequency to? And you can be in a little bit of a stubborn energy and just keep holding on to the past, or you can align to that higher future. Again, don't chase the past, don't chase the shadows. Don't chase the past version of yourself. Part of this process is mourning a past version of yourself, and that's okay because you're letting go of a version of who you were. You're letting go of a version of who you but you are now embodying a higher level of yourself, an empowered version of yourself. And so then the universe is like, okay, well, you have this new opportunity coming through here. Anything else that we need to know for the Divine Feminine? It doesn't just have to be about connection relationships, especially not romantic relationships. This could apply to careers. This can apply to life experiences. This can apply to jobs, family, things like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic energy that we're talking about here when we're talking about like new opportunities instead of looking at the past. So keep that in mind as well. It's you're shedding all those old beliefs. Yeah, you're shedding all those old beliefs. Ten of Swords. It's done. It's done. That old version of you, it's done. It's in the past. You're getting the Seven of Pentacles too. Yeah, you've planted the seeds. You've planted new roots. You have grown a new version of yourself, evolved into a new version of yourself. Don't keep looking at the past. Allow yourself to keep looking forward. Okay, let's get a card for the Union energy. What do we need to know for the 777 portal, the union between the two? Divine Feminine, I'm also getting a message here. Don't be afraid to step through the doorway. Anchor into the new energy that you're feeling. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step forward. That's too much. All right, what do we need to know for the union energies between the masculine and the feminine? What do we need to know for the union energies? Twin flame, a connection like no other. I'm getting this energy of acknowledgement, of acknowledging each other. And again, this doesn't have to be necessarily a person, but acknowledging the energy and trusting and having faith in the energy of your experiences, of what you have felt along this journey. Having faith in the connection that you feel to yourself, to God, and to a partner that is being called in. We don't come to this journey by choice. You don't come to this journey seeking a twin flame or seeking the journey itself. Well, most of us are not even aware of what twin flame is until we're activated. And we have all this phenomena and all these experiences and this very deep-seated knowing of connection and unconditional love. And it's only through insight and download and being guided that we begin to really understand what this journey is. And we fight it tooth and nail because it's not like anything we've ever known. It's certainly not like the old template of relationship. It's not like the old template of what we've experienced from parent figures or friends or our own romantic experiences. It is something very deep level. It is something very intrinsic. It is something very sacred, and it is something very ancient. You don't go seeking it. It finds you because it is you, because it's a natural part of you. It's a part of your soul. It's not just on your path. It is your path. It is you. It is who you are. And we don't say that for you to identify with the label. Release the label. The label doesn't matter. We've been saying that from the beginning. The label doesn't matter. It just helps you to understand what you are experiencing. Tune into the energy. Tune into that sacred love that you feel within yourself, that ancient love that you feel within yourself, that connection that you feel within yourself. That is and always has been real. And even if other people don't understand it, allow yourself to trust in what it is that you feel. A very strong message that's coming forth here. Because what it is, at the center of things, is love. It is simply love. All right, I'm going to move on to the Patreon and pull a couple more cards just to see what's going on and how this 777 energy is shifting things for the connection, for the counterparts. So go ahead and head over there if you're interested in continuing the reading, and we'll be back later with some more readings and updates. Sending lots of love and lots of light.